Menu. Some nice cornmeal porridge is on the menu. My mother is making cornmeal porridge. Too bad I'm not a cornmeal porridge fan. I don't think... Mom, did I ever drink cornmeal porridge? My mom said that I told her I wasn't a puppy. And she's steaming cabbage, guys. So I think it was one time when they had, was it election time in Jamaica? And you didn't have enough, they start, what you call it? They call it married in Jamaica, when the stuff was hard to get. And the shopkeepers and the supermarket, you have to buy certain stuff to get flour, rice, and so forth. So you have to get cornmeal. And I saw her turn into cornmeal. So I had a puppy named Brownie. And we always turn cornmeal and give Brownie with the chicken fat. But I used to give Brownie some of my food, because how can you have a dog and give them chicken fat with turned cornmeal or the oil, or she seasoned it up and give it to them, turn the cornmeal and give it to my dog Brownie. So I said to her, one day I saw her making it, the turned cornmeal. And I said to her if she's turning this for Brownie. And she said, no, it's for us to eat. So I said, when did we turn puppy? And I was a little kid. So I don't eat it, because she said, drink the porridge or eat turned cornmeal. But I have festival. And I will have like the almond corn. And it's not degrading or anything that I'm saying it, but it smells really nice. But no, I'm not gonna try it. But I will have festival. That's the only thing I will have the cornmeal in. The cornmeal dumpling, if anyone give it to me, trust me, I know, and I don't want to eat it. I just don't like it. For some reason, I don't know. I'm not a fan. So when you're not a fan of something, but this one, she makes it and she put her milk and her spices, and she's steaming some cabbage. How you guys doing this Saturday morning? What's on the menu? What are you guys cooking? What did you guys have for breakfast? Or it's gonna be brunch soon. It's like 10 after 10 in the morning. I just woke up. I don't know. I feel for something nice for my breakfast. I was feeling to make some banana porridge. Maybe that's what I should do. When my mom is not here and she's in Jamaica, I have to get up and make my own food. But when she's here, sometimes I don't have to unless I want to cook. Or I'm doing my cooking little channel. And then she needs to have more milk. She's not a milk fan, but she's a cheese person. Her grandmother used to raise cow, and they used to drink a lot of milk and cheese, so she stopped drinking milk. She used to make cheese. Her grandmother was from Cuba. Where was Granny Dad from? Cuba. So she used to go to Cuba and shop. That's where they go and shop. Actually, her both grandparents, they're from Cuba because her mom, my grandmother, and her great grandmother, um, parents were from Cuba. So Granny Dad used to was from Cuba. So Granny used to go to Cuba and shop, and her mom's side of family was from Cuba when her mother was getting married. That's my grandmother Olga was getting married to my grandfather Leonard. So that's two Cuban family, and they went to shop for her wedding dress there and my grandfather's suit from Cuba. So usually give us all their little stories. Granny used to raise cows and what chickens and pig. So my mom and her cousins and some of her brothers don't eat chicken because they didn't like, and that's the stewing hen chicken and the rooster. So they don't like the chicken. So they don't eat egg. They don't eat chicken. They eat beef, curry goat. Oh, and they eat a lot of pork. They raise pig too. So Granny used to have helpers, and if the food doesn't taste good, Granny used to throw it out, because Granny was one of those principal women. And Granny was a praying grandmother too. Oh my God, we used to hate going over. We love her. I used to hate going and spend time with her after school. This is that's time in Jamaica when you were smaller, and when you get a holiday from school, you have to go spend a week or two with Granny. But trust me, we didn't like it because my grandmother said we sleep very bad. So, you're all on the bed and all of you guys. And she will pray the whole night. And every time this lady is praying, because she cover her head with her tired, and she pray for the entire family, Granny will wake you up to go down on your knees on the floor. So I used to say one morning I said to her, leave me and let me sleep. She slapped me and said, get up. And come put the tired on your head. She used to go to one of those church. It's like what's the name of the church? It's like a revivalist church or a poker church. It's a revivalist church. She was a revivalist. But she was really nice. But because my sister was born before me, she used to say that's her daughter because my sister is brown. Because Granny was one of those prejudiced person. She likes the browner person. Because my mom and some of her sisters and brothers, some are browner and some are darker in color. I'm laughing because it's funny. And Granny used to say, this one is mine, that one is not mine. So when I was born, I was a little bit darker and Indian. I'm more Indian than my sister. My sister is browner and shorter. Um, Granny said, no, that is the Amen side. So I was like to my mom, I'll go down to my Indian granny house because the granny don't like me. So let my sister go and go stay with her. So I will go down to my grandmother. That's my dad's mom because she was such a good grandmother. But we used to go there and we said, no, we're not going to go to granny. And that's Jassy Donaldson. They call her Aunt Jess, and you have to call her Aunt Jess. And everybody have to go and greet her. And if you go and show up your mouth or any little attitude, you cannot go to her house. And she don't let us go and play with our little cousins when we go and visit. She's like, what do you say? She said we have to stay because if anything happened to my dad's family, which are Indian, the Hemans, um, they're gonna get upset and get mad. So we're not supposed to mix with those people. But Granny was like that. She said the other kids weren't raised and brought up proper than the way we were raised and brought up. So she doesn't let us play around or talk with a lot of other kids. That's granny for you. My Indian granny, she was a very attentive grandmother. She helped my mom with us when my mom had us. She come and make sure that our baby clothes, our little nappies, our hair. My mom said every time we poop, she keep change. She just go wash us off again and stuff. But then she end up going to England, and she got sick with her nerves. But Jamaica doesn't call it. I think that's what they call it now in Canada, or now as a term, say Alzheimer's. But I think Granny was a little bit crack. You know, when you're from London, England, you know, people head is not so right. They always say they're a little bit cuckoo. That's what they say in Jamaica. But Granny was a nice grandmother. We had to stay with her too. She used to stay with us when my grandfather was in London, England. So, but Granny, over the years, you know, she remember a lot of stuff. So, her parents were from England. No, India. So Granny, what's her name? We call her Nani. Nani used to speak a lot of. She was Hindu, so she speak Hindi, but we don't understand a lot of the language. But the only time we'll see her come out more, she used to say she can't walk as she get older. She and her sisters, they made this use in Jamaica. That just my cousin, they just came out with it in August last weekend. The Jegasar. They made the use, this Indian use. It's tradition thing made from bamboo with crepe paper, and they put a big bird, they dump it in the river, and there's some meaning to it. You use the grave dirt, and what they say, Use and Usan, they fight as brothers. So my grandmother Nani, well, great grandmother Nani, and her sisters and the older Indian ladies, they have their incense and stuff, walking and praying and singing behind this thing. So when we used to go, she used to say to my dad, because my mom don't like us to go to those things. I guess when we were older, she'll start letting us go. Um, Saying we're not to touch anything from it, take anything home. And she used to say to my father, Irvin, let the kids take the buggy and go back while she's still walking. So we always say, come, Nanny, it's time for you to go down on a. We used to put her on a. They used to have those minivans. Um, they didn't have much taxi. They had taxi, but not a lot of taxi. They usually have minivans and bus, or we get a ride for her from some family members. So we usually go in like pickup trucks, the van, the back of the pickup truck. So we used to look out for her and held her and put her on the vehicle and send her back down. That's the only time I see she gets so much energy. All the time we see her, she bawl for pain because, you know, they have the arthritis pain. But apart from that, this is just a little bit of me, my family background. My mother's father was a shoemaker, and he used to water the cane in the cane land at Yamat. My dad family, they have a lot of cane field, and that's how they raise their kids, by watering the cane. Um, do you call it manure? Drop manure, cane tap, they plant the cane tap, stuff like that. They take care of their kids, send their kids to school. With your kids were really educated. Some work in banks, some were teachers, nurse, and a lot of doctors. We have quite a few doctors now in the family. Um, what else? So daddy was a good shoemaker. My grandfather was in England. He left my dad. I don't even remember what age grandfather went to England, but he came back after he retired. and bought back the house that he lived in, his parents lived in, and that's where he resides until my grandmother passed and he passed. My mom, dad passed 2016 with my dad following 2 weeks after, and then her sister passed while we were there another month after. Then when we came back, her other sister passed. So she's the only sister that's alive, but she has her eldest brother that she follows passed. How many kids have you guys again? 7? There's 8. The oldest brother lived in um, Quebec, and he went to Jamaica, and then he went back up because it was it's health wise. You have your Canadian free medical. Like, why spend so much money in Jamaica? We're spending a lot of money, so he had to come back up. She has 2 brothers in the States, and she has another brother here. So she's the only girls left from her family, but there is 4 boys left. So the family is spread. Her family is spread right out throughout Canada, the U.S., England, and Jamaica. I think she has some cousin living in Paris. Um, yeah, so she has a lot of family. So she spend her time, a lot of family contacting her, and she likes her old time stories. Her mom passed away when they were very young. Her mom passed away, what, in her 40s, 40 something? 45. So they grew up very close and tight as siblings and helped look after the other younger ones. She had 7 children, and I think some death in between, or just like my grandmother. I think my grandmother had 5 boys, no girls, and she had a couple miscarriages, she said. Yeah. So she spent her time here with her nieces and nephews and her cousins and her brothers calling her, and they talk. So to keep her busy, we put her on Facebook, so she watched a lot of programs and stuff and her church service. And guys, when I do go to work, I have to let her watch her church service, or people send videos or links for her to do her watch like funerals, because she used to love attend funerals in Jamaica. So when I get the chance, when I'm off, to take her to church, when you're here and you have to work on Sundays, especially if I work Sunday morning, she don't go to church. But when I do Sunday afternoon, I take her to church most of the time. Hopefully one day. She doesn't like to take the bus by herself. Actually, she don't know how to take the bus by herself. She'll wait for me till I come home, or I have to drop her or pick her back up. She's not gonna take the bus. And she has arthritis, so she do her walking, but she cannot walk fast. And she reads and she does her prayers, and she pray just like her grandmother. You'll be sleeping and you could hear her out here singing and praying anywhere in the house. Sometime, actually this morning I was sleeping and I hear singing, and then she was out here singing and praying and talking all by herself. So I woke up and see she's making her breakfast. So guys, she's making cornmeal porridge. Let's give it a stir. the cover. This is the hard part from it. Past your dish. Past your dish.
2.5 feet.
Yes, your cornmeal porridge is ready. I'm not gonna have any of that. I'm gonna have some cabbage. You know, I'm not gonna have. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. God bless.